Hello, everyone, and welcome to 40,000 Layers. In this show, I'm Toshna. Hello. We work through the factions in 40,000 Warhammer. My brain's gone. It's gone. This is a scuffed intro.
Alright, let's start it all again.
Start again.
Play the intro again.
In this show, I'm Toshna. Hello. I learned to paint minis.
Hello.
And there's Sheepy, who is going to be teaching us Warhammer 40k lore. I don't know why that was so scuffed. Sorry about that. That was weird. And today we're going to be talking about more specific Necron characters as I start to paint my Necron Triarch. So yeah, thank you very much to the folks supporting us over on Patreon, which are Thornlord, Ian, Mark C, Particularly Money, Damned Man, Ramona, V Mushroom, Retrograde Vector, Azean, and Great Blue One. If you want to check out the Patreon, there are Patreon exclusive posts and non-exclusive posts so everyone can look at them. It's over at patreon.com/40,000 layers.
I want to ask if we have the next subject thing that we...
You ask a lot of questions, Sheepy.
Right, sorry.
You ask a lot of questions.
Do we not have one?
No, because I had actually not opened a page. That's why it was so scuffed. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Wait.
I'm
let
sorry,
me look.
Yeah.
Help me if you want to help.
What? How
me.
can I do that?
I don't know. Okay. April topic vote, which is soon-ish. I don't know. We're in March now. Okay. April topic vote. The winner is that we're going to be finishing off Commander Farsight's story. So that will be entertaining for us. Lots of information there. Not sure what I'll paint along. Maybe I'll continue the Triarch because I absolutely am not going to get it finished in these videos. But yes, this is I'm all it is because I got it wrong. We're going to be painting in the color scheme of the Sheepy. Who dynasty?
Zorak?
Zar.
Let me see the word again.
That one.
Zarakan.
Zarakan dynasty. Yep. So bronzes, silvers, and green, because my other Necrons are painted in those colors, and I like it. So.
And also, I've Tash did bring this up, but if you guys want me to be the one painting and Tash to do the lore, there is now a monetary figure for that on the Patreon, so you're not gonna hit it. So I'm safe.
So you're safe. Well, good luck with that. It's ridiculous. You're ridiculous. I think it would be great fun and a nightmare at the same time. Because I wouldn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about fucking lore?
I'd be like, so blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, so what do they do? I'm like, I don't know. Don't ask me these questions.
You're like, so the Space Wolves are super nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd be like, no, that's
Imagine
that's
if
not true.
I did tell you about the Space Wolves. I could paint. Oh, you could paint a Space Wolf. I have been
I could
paint
paint a Space Wolf.
Oh man.
I wouldn't want to. Like, not okay. I'd hate that because not only would I have to paint a Space Wolf, you would be the one telling me about Space Wolves, and I wouldn't be able to tell you how shitty Space Wolves are.
I think that would be brilliant.
I don't like it.
I like it. Sorry, this intro is really weird, but you know what? It's like that sometimes.
Sometimes life
Finds a way.
Oh, I saw an advert for some Pokemon style Jurassic Park
Hell yeah.
like mobile game.
Oh.
And you like wander around and you can see dinosaurs and they're like destroying the city. So
Nice.
I don't know what the fuck it was, but yeah, there you go.
Thanks for that beautiful story.
I'm here to help. So yeah, like it's kind of nice to be back here.
Back to
Like
our Necrons.
yeah, because the first one we did was Necrons.
Yeah.
And my god, I knew absolutely nothing about Necrons before that. Before that episode, like I had to do so much like looking into it and be like, okay, what the hell is this?
Because they were like new in terms of, well, new to you, and
Yeah,
new in the world, I suppose.
newer, yeah.
Yeah. I meant to say as well, I'm building in sub-assembled parts because that seemed like a good idea. And I also put white tack, which is like sticky tack for Americans, I guess, over the bits that are to be stuck together so that I don't get paint all over them.
There you go.
There you go. Fun facts for you, everybody.
Also, tack is a type of like survivable hard food that sailors used to use on long trips.
It's also what you call horse riding gear, like horse tack.
That's true. It's also a pin.
Oh yeah.
A really annoying little pin that I have on multiple occasions stepped
Stood on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a interesting side.
So Necrons.
Necrons.
Actually, I mean, not Necrons in the general sense, because, you know, we're being more specific.
Yeah.
I've kind of prepared a fair amount for today. So I essentially have,
A script that I am not allowed to deviate from.
no, not even slightly.
Okay.
In fact, I was looking, like, so what I thought was, I was like, maybe I'll go through a couple of the vehicles as well. You know, just be like,
That'd be interesting. Something a bit different.
yeah. Talk about the vehicles. Talk about, because you're painting a stalker, and I was like, yeah, if I could give you some details on the Necron vehicles, maybe you'll get a few more. Like, end up with a massive Necron army.
I know.
You know. And as I was looking through, I was like, okay, I'll pull up a list of the Necron vehicles, and there's like the Triarch Stalker, there's the Obelisk, you know, Command Barge, blah blah blah. Wait, are these all? These all look like? Oh, God, yeah, okay. We'll deal with that later. I also pulled up like the spacecraft and aircraft because I had this like nagging feeling in the back of my head
Aww.
that I was going to talk about like regular vehicles, and you're going to be like, well, what about like, you know, what about the aircraft or the ship, you know, the battleships?
I'm glad
in
that you've
space.
prepared for that because I will ask.
So I've got like all the Necron ships open and ready to be desperately scrolled through in case we go off piste.
We would never.
So yes, I do have some characters to talk about, some peoples.
Mm-hmm.
And a few like little bits and pieces. We kind of covered the Silent King already, haven't we?
Yeah.
Zarik's cool.
What a champ.
Oh,
He has issues. But so does everyone.
as far as I know, there's not very much on the other two of the Triarch, which is the, you know, the ruling three.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Silent King and the other two.
The other two.
Well, this is the thing, right? Is I went on a bit of a search because I was like, there's two other, you know, Necrons in the Triarch.
Yeah.
I was like, there's probably something, you know, there's probably something quite big about them that we can go over. And it's like, no, like in all the searching I'd done, all I found was pretty much their names.
What are the names?
So Hap-Thatra
Right.
and Mesophet. It's Hap-Thatra the Radiant and Mesophet the Shadowed Hand.
Well, that's terrible.
I'll actually, like, very quickly, I'll take you through the wiki for both of them.
Yeah.
Mesophet, also called Mesophet the Shadowed Hand, is a Necron Pharaon and member of the revived ruling Triarch of the Necron species in the era Indomitus, alongside Hapthatra the Radiant and the Silent King Sarek himself. When the Triarch goes to war, they do so together upon the dais of domination with the aid of the captured Catan, known as the Enchained. So that's Mesophet.
Okay.
And then Hapthatra. Hapthatra, also called Hapthatra the Radiant, is a Necron Pharaon and member of the revived ruling Triarch of the Necron species in the area Indomitus, alongside Mesophet the Shadowed Hand and the Silent King Sarek himself.
Oh my gosh, that's so detailed.
When the Triarch goes to war, they do so upon the dais of Dominion, along with the aid of the captured Catan, known as the Enchained.
This is the first time I've heard this information.
Right?
So clearly they hate the Triarch.
Yeah, so that's what I found on both of them, and I was like, I should probably do a little bit more searching and see if I can find other people to talk about, because they really ain't it.
You know what? We're gonna make up a whole story for them because they live in witness protection, actually.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's so their name is on record because it's got to be, right? But no one's seen a picture of them.
Well, it's just them and Steve. I mean, he has to be under witness protection after what he did, right?
He's well, if he comes back, be in trouble.
Well, he had to have come back. Otherwise, how did the Necron the Terranists find their way here?
Well, he's off causing some ruckus with the Tau.
Oh, is he?
Not the Tau, with the Eldar and Ynnari. Well, probably with the Tau. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be a Tau war soon.
Oh, that's right. He turned up at the orgy with pizza and
yes.
couldn't find any of his people. Yeah. And then Slanesh was born, and he was like, "Oh, SpaghettiOs."
I'll just come back later, shall I?
He always turns up in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh dear, poor Steve. But yeah, they're in witness protection. Yeah. All their information is being scrubbed.
Yeah.
Or they just haven't written it because they don't want to. How's that?
Sure. I'd buy that for $1. So, first up, we're going to talk about someone very quickly.
Okay.
And that someone is Hazmatef.
Right.
Hazmatef is a Necron Pharaon.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a whole load about him, but I wanted to include him because he has one of those, like, nice little funny bits about him, I guess.
Funny, like, actually, haha, or funny, like, oh, isn't it so weird how the flayed ones...
Yeah, the flayed ones are creepy.
Like, what kind of funny we're talking about?
Well, I'll let you judge for yourself. Okay. So, Hazmatef is a Necron Pharaon whose list of titles grow longer with every conquest he completes. Among them are the Master of the Thousand Worlds, Oppressor of the Vordish Hordes, Grand Immolator of the Poison Star, He Who Fought the Screaming God, Wielder of the Song of Sorrows, Master of the Seven Realities, Lord of the Outer Kingdoms, Executioner of Kossel, Wearer of the Starpire Raiment, to name but a tiny fraction of all of his titles.
He needs to chill out.
During a battle, so like when he raises his hordes, where he gets his Necrons together and they go out into battle to fight someone, he has a royal warden who's called Moheb the Indomitable.
Mm-hmm.
And he is Hazmatef's herald, and at the offing of battle, when battle begins, his herald will shout and like proclaim his titles to the enemy.
They're just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go. Like, you win this round.
Well, so he proclaims the titles, but they take so long that they just start, like, once he starts proclaiming the titles, they just start the battle anyway.
What's that song where it goes, is it Edge, Gooch, Catcher, Tussner, Simon Camel, Wecky, Brown? Don't do well, don't do well. No? Do you know that
I've
song?
never heard that.
You've never heard it? Okay, so his name is so long. This kid falls into a well. It takes so long to say his name that he drowns. Spoilers. But
Okay.
the whole song is like a dog hears him fall in a well, and then he goes and finds the human to rescue him. They come back to the well. They're saying his name this whole time, and then he drowns. The end. Spoilers.
Well, that doesn't happen here.
Okay, no drowning. Okay.
No drowning. Well, maybe but there might be some drowning. I don't know. It depends where they're fighting.
Why was I taught this song when I was like 7 years old?
So.
Sorry.
I really feel unqualified to answer that question, to be honest.
British nursery rhymes are so weird. Anyway.
So, battle starts, and Moheb the Indomitable proclaims all of his Pharaoh's titles to the enemy.
Yeah.
And due to tradition now, if his army, if Hasmatef's army isn't victorious by the time Moheb's finished the reciting all of the titles, then the Pharaoh has to join in battle.
Oh, so do some work.
In instances where the titles are finished and the war's still going on, Hasmatef punishes really harshly everyone in his dynasty to show them how upset he is that they didn't finish in a timely fashion.
Don't make me come down there to the battlefield.
Which has been happening quite a bit lately because he's been having some problems with some space marines.
Oh no.
In blue armor.
Oh no. That's not fair.
However, secretly, in his own heart of hearts and, in his own, inner core, he's trying to get the Royal Warden, the Proclaimer, to finish quicker. Because he really wants to fight, and he wants to go and, kick some Space Marine ass and, get stuck in there himself. So, publicly, he'll, punish his guys for, not finishing quick enough. But he's like, look, I really want to fight some Space Marines, okay? So can you just...
No dessert after dinner. Except, actually, you can. Just you can't have the strawberries as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all there is about Hasmatef. I just thought it was a funny little...
I mean, I love how he has all these titles and names, but it just doesn't tell you anything about how they came to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of rubbish of him.
I mean, Grand Immolator of the Poison Star.
Yeah.
What's the Poison Star? How did he immolate it? And why was it grand? Nothing is explained.
Just come on now. This is several book series just given to you right there.
Yeah, I mean, he who fought the Screaming God. I assume that's Khorne. But is it Khorne? And what happened in the fight? There's so much there.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Also, one of them is just wearer of the Starpire raiment, which basically means he has a cloak on. That's not even that impressive.
What if it's a devil cloak?
Well, why would it be called surely it would be called the devil's shroud or something, not the Starpire raiment.
Well, maybe he burned a star with it. Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened to the Poison Star.
Maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Figured it out.
Mystery solved.
Games Workshop doing a job for you.
You're welcome. This is so... Oh, God. I quite enjoy making stuff up for all these characters.
Yeah.
I wonder if there are there are a lot of books out there on in the universe. I wonder if it's ever sort of referenced, sort of hidden away in a book
Yeah.
that we don't know about?
Probably
But
at
then
this
it would
point.
have been like reference, wouldn't it, in your research? So
Well,
like appears in a book.
yeah, usually, but like the thing is, you know, people don't read everything and don't always think of everything, and so you know, that's actually really interesting because I'm like, I think it's very, very possible that there's like lost lore that people have just forgotten about or has, you know, kind of disappeared into obscurity, and there's like one or two books left which actually contain it, and you know that 40k lore is so ridiculous that even the lore itself is like missing and secret and
Yeah, and thinking back now that we're talking about that, the it's the Imperium viewpoint, isn't it? So they will know all his titles from fights, but
yeah.
not why. So I guess it's fine, but it's not fine.
Well, only if someone survived.
Yeah, and no one's surviving.
If no one survived the battle, then there'd be no one to be like, yeah, so this guy had quite a few titles. I only got like
Two of
5,000 of
them.
them, so
But it went on for a while, but then, you know, everyone died and it seemed like a good idea to leave.
and there's some mechanicus there who's like, well, next time write it down.
Write it down. The librarian's
God.
like, hang on, just drag the battle out a little bit. It's not got all the way through the names yet.
Just last a little bit longer. We've almost got them all. And then like the last Imperial Guardsman dies, the battle ends, and the guy just stops like reciting it, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to fight him again now. Thanks."
Emperor, damn it.
There you go. So, do you know much about the Subakar dynasty?
No.
So, the Subakar dynasty is a Necron dynasty in the Jericho Reach, which is a section of
Space.
Space. I have a thing. Right.
Painting black on black is so irritating. Just say.
Noted. So yeah, sorry, I got distracted because it's like they're located in the Jericho Reach and may be related to the phenomenon known as the dark pattern. I was like, I've never heard of the dark pattern. The fuck is that?
Damn it. Is there anything in it? Tell me about the dark pattern.
Nope.
Sorry, I'm excited.
So apparently the dark pattern is a pattern of dead worlds in the area.
Okay.
That really worries the Ordo Xenos and the Death Watch. So, yeah.
But why?
So apparently it's a whole load of worlds that are just completely dead.
Yeah.
In like a very specific pattern that they don't understand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mysteries.
It's possible. It's possible that there are like elements that shouldn't exist in reality.
Oh.
Or like xeno species that still exist in some form but are supposed to be extinct.
Like the Necrons.
Well, the Necrons, you know, I guess you'd
the
have
Necron tier.
Yeah, Necron tier.
Steve. Okay, so the word about it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just.
Where's the expedition for them to solve the mysteries of the dead planets.
Oh yeah, the Imperium is keeping an eye on it.
Oh well, they'll just ruin it. It's fine.
So, the Supercard dynasty, was one of the great houses of the Necron tier, the Necrons. And the pharaoh of the dynasty was called Amontech, or Armontech, probably. Who was he was called the Crimson Scythe. Sounds like a superhero, I know, but and was a really great general.
Okay.
He was responsible himself for the defeat of at least one old one.
Ooh, get it.
And he actually also breached he breached the walls of something called Ib. I don't know what that is. But I'm assuming it was
of Ib.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's some kind of like fortress or something, like a bastion. And was the first to pass through the Dolmen Gate on the brink of the Ebon Vault. Dolmen Gates are essentially the Necron version of the Webway.
Yeah, I remembered that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, is that not? And yes, it is.
Isn't that thing that I remember?
The Webway, but like not
Necron Webways.
Necron Webway.
And yeah, the Aeldari know him, or the Eldar know him as like a destroyer of the old ones, of their gods. And he's especially hated and feared for his bullshit.
Good for you, buddy.
However, one of the tales, the one that's like best known, I guess, is how he was betrayed by his cousin of a different dynasty.
Okay, tell us about it. Tell us the story.
The cousin was called Setiai, and he was of the Charnovok dynasty.
Okay.
So this is during the war with the old ones, and all those type of things.
A lot going on.
Yeah, the Eldar, the Crocs, all that ridiculous stuff. And his forces, his legions, had suffered heavy damage and casualties fighting as they were like pushing through these big hallways, and at the same time, while they were basically like pushing through and give it a good old college try, his cousin and the forces of the Charnovok dynasty swooped down and attacked the Eldar who were defending this area and stole all the glory from Amonotech.
Oh, okay. So it's not like murder betrayal.
No, that is literally stealing his glory.
Which is terrible.
And so finally, Amontech broke through and was like, haha, hello.
Oh.
What are you doing here? We were fighting to get here. And they were like, well, we just like dropped down and like, look, there's all this cool stuff here that we have. So Amontech was upset.
Yes.
And he essentially was like, hey, this is a problem. And the other dynasty and his cousin were like, don't care, got here first.
Keepers.
Yeah. And considering the fighting was still going on, he couldn't really push it. And after this, later after this, Zarek, the Silent King,
Yeah.
decided that all the Necrons needed to go for a little sleep.
Just a nap, you know. No big deal.
And obviously this included all of the dynasties and all of the Necrons and everything. So they set up all of these tomb worlds and all of these, pyramids and places for them to sleep. And Armontech went to go sleep, lay down and then slumbered for 60 million years.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, part of it, they were hoping that the Eldar would just stop being a threat, because the Eldar was still about, and, they're all psychery, and Necrons don't do well with that type of shit.
That is nonsense. Can't be dealing with that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Nobody
likes psychers.
Well, yeah, no one likes that. I was like, well, but no one likes psychers.
For lunch.
But for Armontech, he was not doing great. There was a tiny part of him, like the core of his being, let's call it, that just couldn't get over the fight. You know when you have a bad day,
and that one thing just sets you off.
Yeah, and it's something really small and stupid where, it's someone makes an offhand comment and you're just like,
that is it. Everything is terrible.
We are eternally rivals. I will see you destroyed for your comment about, I don't know, hot dogs.
Usually by the end you can't even remember what it was about, but know you hate them.
Very appropriate, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So, Armontech didn't completely sleep. There was like that angry core, kind of kept going.
Yeah.
For 60 million years.
That's gonna go well.
The anger, the bitterness, the jealousy, the hate, the betrayal, everything just kept festering.
Yeah.
Until he literally had no conscious thought left except for insane anger.
He used to hang out with Angron.
I feel like even Angron would go, hey dude, you need to chill out
go.
a little bit, yo.
It's been a long time. How long can you hold a grudge for?
You're a very angry person, and I should know. My name's Angron.
Let's hang out and talk about how grumpy we are.
Honestly, Angron would probably think he's a bit too angry for him.
It might improve his relationship with his father then.
Oh, God. So, all of this might never have... it might never have been a problem or an issue until he was revived. When all the Necrons were revived. However, the Necrons had essentially programs, AI, I guess, watching over their tomb worlds and their, all of their bases and everything.
Yeah.
And they pick up signals and stuff like that. So there's probably be like an Aeldari ship passing nearby, and it's like beep boop, Eldar ship, don't care, carry on.
It's all right. It's not founders. Not worried.
Yeah, and unless there was a direct threat or a specific reason, it wouldn't revive anyone or wake anyone up or do anything along those lines.
Yeah.
It did, however, detect a signal, which it would usually ignore because it's more often, some poor Imperial Navy admiral, lost in the void of the warp, like screaming through wherever it can. It's like, oh, there's demons everywhere. I'm having my eyeballs eaten. And it's like, yeah, that's not interesting.
Okay. Well,
whatever. We've been asleep for 60 million years. What do you think about that, bitch?
just stop going in the warp. Stop being a problem. How about that?
Have you ever
Have I ever been to the warp?
No. I was gonna ask. Have you ever like slept on an arm?
Yeah, and it's like a dead arm.
And woken up and your arm's like, and you're just like, ah.
I mean, like today.
Yeah, same though. Imagine 60 million years where you slept on your arm.
Is that how peeved he was?
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Let's find out.
So, in this instance, the signal was from another dynasty.
Oh, spaghetti-o.
Aimed specifically at this tomb that was housing all these Necrons from the Supercard dynasty. And it was the signal was from the Charnovok dynasty, which, if you remember, is the cousin who betrayed him. So the program that was like looking around and looking for things was like, all right, time to wake up the boss. So it's like kind of, the AI robot equivalent of like tapping on his door
carefully.
And being like, hey, hello, I'm on tech, are you awake? It's time to get up, school soon.
You told us to wake you up if we heard from him, and
Yeah, we heard, so please,
okay,
please don't be angry.
So
it's kind of like essentially when the Necrons are revived, it's a slow process.
Yeah, it's gonna take a minute.
Because it's been like 60 million years, and like if they're not careful, you get, even the most strongest willed leaders of the Necrons can essentially just be lost to mindless robot stuff. And then you got the destroyers and the flayers and all that shit going on as well. You just be careful when you wake up Necrons. Actually, if you're not a Necron, don't wake up Necrons. That's my first step.
Even if you are a Necron.
Yeah, even if you're a Necron, maybe don't wake up Necrons. Like,
also make sure it's the right Necrons.
Yeah.
And don't hang out near any others. And
so the signal that was being sent was a plea for help from the Charnovok dynasty.
Help you be unalived even more.
The domain of the Charnovok dynasty were being ravaged by an alien race.
Oh.
Can you guess which one it was?
It's the Eldar.
It's not.
It's the Tyranids.
It's the Tyranids.
Is it the Oh, why would they do that? That's so mean.
But because there's stuff on, like, even if there's a Necron tomb world,
they're best friends.
They're not.
Best friends ever, Sheepy.
Okay. If you like, technically speaking, if you wanted, you could run like a Tyranid Necron alliance.
Yeah, I feel like it would. Honestly, this has to happen. It's the most profitable for everybody.
Tyranids, you mean it's what you want to happen because you like the Tyranids, you like the Necrons?
Yeah, but it's also the most profitable for everybody. The Necrons get all the technology, and the Tyranids get all the biomass.
Right.
Boom.
Technically speaking, that does kind of work, yeah.
What's not to like? It's so efficient.
I mean, you mean aside from the Necrons and the Tyranids?
Well, they're efficient. They just...
Well, you said what's not to like.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're a Necron or a Tyranid, it's fine.
So they were dealing with like essentially a Tyranid splinter fleet, I think.
Oh, and they won't have known what it was either.
Well, yeah. And they were so in the shit that they were willing to offer anything in return for aid.
Anything's a dangerous word.
And because it's a program and not an actual smart thing, it sent that directly into our friend Armantech.
Good for him.
So, what happened next was a little bit of an overreaction. The whole 60 million years of anger and rage and feeling of being, betrayed and all of that type of thing, for the sender of the message, cousin originally, and burst through every single failsafe protocol and surged through the entire Necron system of like waking up
Oh no.
sleepy Necrons.
You killing all of his Necrons?
He didn't kill them. He blasted their consciousness so they're just mindless robots. And we're talking like thousands upon thousands of Necrons.
That's what you get for betraying people. In the grimdark future.
Yeah.
No forgiveness.
So the last thing that the revival protocol droid thing, the last thing it did before it got essentially burned to the core itself was it started up essentially like a oh shit button.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of continuing to wake up Mr. Angry Pants, who just can't, deal with the fact that, his this
Lord
other dynasty who he
stolen.
hates needs help. It essentially sealed off his stasis crypt.
Mm-hmm.
When it's the equivalent of like it put a pillow over his head and went shh, 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 shh.
Oh.
So he went back to sleep.
Oh, okay. Not just.
Oh, it didn't kill him. It didn't kill him.
Like,
Just,
okay, well, double betrayal. Like, you're just a bit tired still, actually.
yeah, he's just a little tired. It's fine.
He just needs like 10 more millennia.
And decided to it essentially selected a regent. The way it generally worked is like sometimes for whatever reason they can't, or they have difficulty waking up like the really mentally strong Necrons. So there's like, if the Pharaon can't be woken up, maybe get someone else to do it for a bit.
Okay, that's fine.
And so someone else was woken up instead.
Uh-huh.
And that was... Is that him? No, it's not him.
I thought...
I have a few up and I can't remember which one it was. Yes, it was Arhotech.
Oh, okay, it's not cousin then. It's all good.
No. And Arhotech, he had an interesting time as a Necron tier and as a Necron. He was kind of like a mid-level Necron tier, and even afterwards as a Necron.
It's kind of a promotion, isn't it?
Yeah. He so it's essentially the reason why he was the choice is because God, what the hell is the name of the other guy? Arhotek? Montek. The Pharaon. He quite liked Arhotek. And the reason he liked him was because he was always very successful compared to a lot of the other Necrons who served him.
Right.
As the rest of the dynasty were sometimes a little bit disappointing. They'd fall for traps. They'd fail to do what he asked them to do. And Arhotek was always quite successful. So one of the things that we have talked about, but I'll just refresh for people who may not know.
Been a long time.
Yeah. When the Necrons became when the Necron tier became the Necrons, it is essentially impossible for them to be, betray their lords, to work against them. Any type of treachery is basically just not viable because of all the command protocols they have, basically tying them down to being loyal. But that's only for their lord. So all of the mid-level and higher tier Necrons in the Supercard dynasty who were working for Armontek had to be loyal to him.
Yeah.
They couldn't betray him. But that doesn't mean they couldn't fuck each other over.
Oh, fun.
So that is why the rest, lots of times, the rest of the dynasty seemed so, like they failed and they fell into traps and that type of thing. Because Arhotek was being a dickhead.
Oh.
And he was, so during the Great Sleep, before the Great Sleep, in the War of Heaven, he always managed to maneuver things so that he had a good position, but the majority of his forces wouldn't take too much damage.
Yeah. Very sensible in a selfish way.
Yeah. A lot of the time, he was called out for it, and he always seemed to have just enough evidence or reason or excuse or whatever that he never got called to account for it. He never suffered any kind of repercussions. And by the time the War in Heaven ended, he was one of the top ranked members of his dynasty.
And I don't like him.
Huh?
I don't like him. He's a suck up.
But he's a Necron.
Well, I can dislike individual ones.
Oh, okay.
Silly.
So, Arhotek he wasn't the highest ranking, but he was the best viewed, I guess, for Armontek.
Yeah.
So, during the Do you remember we were talking about the fight in the hallway, in the webway, and like
Yeah.
against the Eldar?
Yeah.
During that fight, a lot of the direct rivals of Arhotech had setbacks and unfortunate number of losses, which, as it happens, the Pharaon, the crazy guy who's now like been sealed back up, blamed on the Charnavok dynasty.
Oh, well, it is their fault.
There's no real way to. There's no real yay or nay as to whether he did it on purpose or whether it was just him, whether
Shifting
he
the
was
blame.
just trying to save his own ass.
Yeah.
But it meant that essentially, he was probably quite significantly he was definitely quite significantly to blame for the whole fiasco with the Charnavok dynasty. So he was awoken.
Yeah. To be regent, I guess.
Yeah, regent. In a tomb that was basically falling apart.
Oh no.
Because of the whole.
I feel like I see where this is going for his rivals.
Yeah. Like the maintenance little scarabs and etc. weren't working properly.
When he was finished with them, for sure.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of random like maintenance things that were trying to maintain stuff that didn't exist or were somewhere else, or like it was all confused. There was no cohesion on the tomb world anymore because everything had been so like fuzzified. And the quite a few of the Necron warriors woke up as well, and with no kind of guidance and having been essentially wiped to the point of nothing, they just started attacking each other.
Yeah. Surprise. They need programming.
So Arhotech, the regent, the the bestest boy who works for his dynasty and his pharaon and everything, was like, whoa, 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 shut this shit down. Basically sent out an order to
stop.
to all machinings and everything. And they just ignored him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he's not any. Oh no.
Yeah, they were attacking each other. They were attacking the tomb. They were attacking the Necrons who are still in stasis.
Aww.
And essentially, he realized he tried multiple times to get them to
cut it out.
Yeah, just stop it. But they didn't do anything. They like the entirety of the tomb world was just falling into absolute chaos. Not literal chaos, but
Yeah,
chaos.
well, not God chaos.
Yeah, not
the
God
actual chaos.
Which is kind of not ironic, but was a shame for him because he'd always been wanting to be in charge and to be, yay. And literally all of the Necrons awake, who he's supposed to have power over, all of the, systems and maintenance, scarabs and everything, none of it's listening to him. He has no control. So he had a little bit of a grump and wandered off to see if he could figure out how to get control over everything again.
Okay.
Of course, he'd only just woken up, and he'd been asleep for 60 million years, so he wasn't the most coherent, even as, even if he's a robot. He got a little bit lost for a while. Even he doesn't know how long he got lost for, but it could have been like years, knowing Necrons.
Yeah, they don't experience time like we do.
Eventually, he managed to find the crypt of one of the dynasty's more useful people.
Wait, did he like one on his in his tomb world? He stayed there, right? And got lost in the tomb world.
He got lost in the tomb world.
Good job.
Yeah.
Right.
He's knocking it out the park. But he ran into the crypt of one of the dynasty's useful Necrons, a cryptek called Ozcan the Codifier.
Okay.
We'll talk about crypteks in a bit.
Yeah, thanks.
So he...
Can I guess at the codifier's job?
Sure.
Does he do the programming for the Necrons?
Well, I mean, he's a cryptek. They're kind of... well, we'll talk about what crypteks do.
Oh.
In a bit. But yes, he essentially helps to code the programs and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So the reason why none of the anything was listening to him is because the command protocols were still sealed with the Pharaon.
Mm-hmm. So you need to wake him up to get that working.
Yeah.
Got it.
So what should happen in usual circumstances is if a region is designated, the command program of the Pharaon has will be transferred to the regent.
Mm-hmm. But it didn't.
It either didn't, or the Pharaon did something to like fuck it up.
Yeah, well, he's a big old grump, so
yeah, and essentially the sentinel thing that was looking after everything and woke him up and transferred, got
put him in a
regent
timeout again. Yeah,
put him in the timeout. Even got absolutely obliterated by the rage and stuff. Like, it just got wiped by it. So there's no way to tell like what happened there.
Okay.
So he revived the codifier.
Mm-hmm.
Long time went past, and eventually he woke up the codifier, the cryptek,
Yeah.
and told him what had happened and like what's going on. And the codifier was like, aha, yes, you see, it's because of XYZ, but all the stuff that we talked about. And essentially, the cryptek was like, we can kind of get the ones that have woken up back, back under control, kind of. But to kind of deal with all of the other ones who are still asleep and, waking them up and all that type of thing, like, we're gonna need the command protocols. Which the only way to get the command protocols is either with the program.
Yeah. Or tomb raiding?
Well, so yeah, the command program essentially does the transfer. It only does the transfer when designating a regent to rule for the Pharaon, or upon the Pharaon's death.
Uh-oh.
Problem is if the Pharaoh dies right now, there's nothing to transfer the command protocol.
Yeah.
So it would just disappear.
That would be bad.
Yeah. it wouldn't be great.
It would be bad for a lot of people who live in the universe.
So they couldn't wake everyone up. They couldn't wake up all the sleepy Necrons. And they were trying to get a hold of, what Necrons had awoken and get them back in line and, kind of stop them being assholes and shooting everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was while they were doing this and Ahotep, the regent, was, just getting himself situated that someone turned up and asked to enter.
Good.
And that person was bearing a message from his master, the Pharaoh of the Charvok dynasty.
Great.
So,
we're all pissed off.
Yeah. So Ahotep was like, okay, call him in. And he came in and the Charvoks asked for the Supercar dynasty, ancient allies, kinsmen, etc., to actually turn up. They're like, we sent you a message, we asked for help.
Come help us, you
What
absolute...
the fuck are you?
Come help, we're all dying.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, hey, please come and help. It was like, better fucking help. Otherwise, we're gonna kick your ass.
Can't boss people around. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah. And doing that basically pissed Ahotep off.
Yeah.
With it, like, he basically told one of his Lich Guards to beat the crap out of the Necron. And cut his head off.
Oh, well, reasonable response. Measured.
And gave it his reply, and then had its head taken away back to the Charvok dynasty, to the Pharaoh, where, because it's a machine, it just recorded the reply and then just spoke it out. And the message that Ahotep sent to the Charvok dynasty was, damned be those who would deny the glory of the Supercar dynasty. The second war in heaven is coming, and damned be all who stand against us.
Okay. Let's just have a little fight whilst we're preparing. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throw down some gauntlets.
So, since that time, it's been a few decades since Ahotep has, taken the throne, and he's ruling for the Pharaoh, who, let's face it, we all know people who don't wake up that well. They wake up angry and
yeah.
Yeah, in all of that time, he's still trying to get a hold on his own base, basically.
Yeah, he's busy. Okay, can't be dealing with your problems. Got my own problems, buddy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's got Ozcan, the codifier.
Yeah.
It's helped him, get control back over those Necrons who were running around being assholes. And he's kind of managed it so that there's a bit of an army, I guess.
Bit of an army.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they did they regain sort of sentience, or are they just
no sentience?
mindless?
Just mindless soldiers.
Point you in that direction, off you go, kind of. Okay, it's a shame.
I think there might be a couple who, but really not enough with any type of, solid
Cognitive ability.
anything. And Arhotech has actually, they've been putting out some orders. For
Ooh.
example, wake up a few more Necrons, maybe. And Ozkan's like, look, the vast majority of those sleeping Necrons were hit by that Pharaon mad shit when he had a little bit of a tantrum.
Yeah.
And there's no way to tell until we wake them up which ones are insane and which ones aren't.
Cool. Yeah, let's just sort that out, shall we?
And additionally, the only way to wake up large number of Necrons is through protocols that's inside the Pharaon's.
Yeah, they still need to go sort that system out.
So they essentially have to very slowly wake up the Necrons one by one.
Oh no, because then they don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah, they are trying their goddamn hardest to not be seen by anyone around the Jericho Reach area, which is where they are. Really slowly waking up the legions, the Necrons.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Good idea.
Yeah. They're trying desperately to figure out a way to get the command protocols from the Pharaon.
I mean, I know he had a bit of a grump, but at some point you just gotta wake him up.
Yeah.
Well,
see, if you wake him up, then he'll keep going with the rage.
Yeah, but that's it's the other people's dynasty. Who cares about them?
Well, not only would he probably infect the rest of the Necrons who are sleeping all over the tomb world, he might also blast Ozcan.
Oh.
And Arhotech.
Plus, I mean, they have power now, and that's kind of nice.
I mean, they have. It is. They have power, but they don't have the command protocols. So
they're working on it. It'll be all right.
Yeah. He's had to be very cautious and very,
methodical.
Yeah. There's the only times there's really been any fights for the most part is when people find the tomb world and try and investigate it and stuff.
Yeah. Get rid of them. No witnesses.
And there seems to be, at the very least, enemy xenos, well, maybe Imperium and etc., who have more information than they maybe should about what's going on.
How, though?
Yeah, that's what he's wondering.
But probably.
I don't. It's one of those things where it's like, ooh, it's a mystery.
Ooh.
So while he has been looking out and being all paranoid and all that type of thing, he has possibly figured out that there's some weird bullshit going on, a grand scheme looking at the stars and getting information from his cryptech assistant, let's say, in the corrupted code that's still going around all the systems and stuff. They hunt down the corrupted code and then isolate it and A, study it, and B, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or fix it. And it seems to be related to the dark pattern. Which, if you remember, is all those dead stars that
Yeah, I was like, but how?
I don't know.
Oh, Sheepy, why you solve the mysteries of the Necrons?
So yeah,
Okay, so that's not great. You know, he could just wake a bunch of people up.
he could, to be fair.
Just like open up one wing at a time. You know?
Yeah.
If they're all evil and horrible, just bomb it. And then open up the next wing and see what happens with them.
Yeah.
Much quicker. Like dry brushing.
So yeah, poor Architect. Wanted to be king, got to be king, and it's just a pain in the ass.
I don't feel like, you know what? It serves him right. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's fair.
Ah, that was my wrist. I'm really happy with that so far already.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I was planning on just painting the gun. Wow, I think I also just got lead belcher like all over myself, so that's nice.
Oh.
But I might as well just do all of it because I had to base it on Abaddon anyway, and then
Yeah.
but then no, you know what? No, Sheepy, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Why are you trying to pressure me to do that?
I can only apologize.
I'll continue painting the gun in a moment. And we can continue talking about Necron slumber parties.
Okie dokie.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Ba-da-ba-da.